everyone, this is Ben back with you in the Midwest Model Shop. So today we are going to address the funnels. All right, here's what we're going to do in the video first of all. I'm going to start off with the order in which the funnels go onto the ship. There's a whole mess about all of that. Then we're going to go ahead and address the kit funnels assembly. So we'll take the one that's right out of the box. We'll hit Woody's Model Works. We'll do the KA funnel. That's real short. We'll do the Pontos funnel, and then we'll take a look at the 3D printed funnels from China. I do not have the Model Monkey funnel. I believe that's the name of the company. Haven't seen a lot of comments about it other than they're really nice, but yeah, I guess it's just not that mainstream. And then last but not least, we'll take a dive into the color situation and provide you with some information there as well. So all that being said, time is our greatest enemy, right? Especially as model builders. It just never seems to be enough. In an effort to get this video out today and to keep it short and concise and focus on things that are relevant to building the model, not so much talking about stuff about Titanic. I've cut a lot of things out that I have opinions about, and I'm sure you have opinions about as well. So we can have more discussion on that in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, please. I'm going to reference a bunch of stuff in this video to try and help you and provide you with the information. Last but not least, I do apologize. I wanted to end the video with all 4 funnels for my client that are on his build, just to show you so you get a peek of that. Because of time constraints, I couldn't get that done. I was looking at least a couple more days of building before even beginning to touch this video. So that's what we'll do in the next video, is we'll lock in finalizing those little details on the funnels that we're going to use and put them onto the ship. It's just kind of relevant to my client's build. This video is an overview of all of the options and things available for you. Hopefully that all makes sense. Okay, that's enough. Without further ado, let's get into it. All right, modelers, here we are back in action, and we're on the funnel episode. And I apologize if at any point in time I sound funny during all this. I'm still recovering from a previous ailment. Okay, so there's so much to cover. I'm just going to stick to the critical basics of the model kit because there's a lot. So starting off here, we have our kit funnels. Nothing has been built or added onto them. They are here. So the important part to notice right away is that on the inside, oh man, I don't know if you're going to see that. There's the part number. This one says C2 down in that tab. And then you're going to have to cover that tab or remove that tab. So I recommend right away, somewhere down here on the inside, take your pencil, this says C2, and write C2. Or there's something else you can write, and we'll get to that in a minute, so that you have your order. Okay, this in front of you right here is the kit order for the funnels, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Don't know if you realize this or not, they're different heights. The back 2 are the same height, which is longer than the front 2. The reason for this is the structures that they sit upon on the ship are different heights. The height from the boat deck to the tops of the funnels approximately has been measured. And if you reference the book Titanic, the Ship Magnificent, Volume 1, and you go to page 259, it will tell you exactly the height approximately above the boat deck that these were. And the reason I say approximately is, so the funnel number 4 didn't have any heat coming out of it, not like real heat, and these 3 did. And it was well known and established fact that as these heated up, they would grow and get taller. So I think that that's why this is an approximate height. But the variation in height, it only varies by like 3 feet across the tops of all these things. And the reason I'm telling you that is rivet counters are going to say, I want these in the right order. And so that would be, the first one should be 70 feet above the boat deck, 74 feet, 74 feet, and 73 feet. So that means if you want these in the correct technical order, that's going to be the very first one should be X1. The very next one should be Charlie 1. This one right here, I've actually got in the right spot. Then we need another X1, and then we need a Charlie 2. There, they are now technically in the right order. I'm sure you can all see the difference, and they are different here. Now the kit, if you want them to all be straight and level, if you're like, no, I don't want this though, you can get them straight and level, and that order is going to be, the very first one should be Charlie 2, X1, X1, and Charlie 1. It doesn't look like it here, but on the ship model, that will give you straight and level. If you put them in the order of the instructions, you're going to be Charlie 2, Charlie 1, X1, and X1. That's the way the kit instructions have you go. Okay, now that that's out of the way, does it even really matter? Let's take a look and see. Okay, here are the 4 kit supplied funnels placed on top of the ship in the order that the instruction manual tells you to place them. And there's the height difference. I don't know what else to do here. I can move the camera a little bit further back. That's what it looks like. This is important. If you do it in this order, all of the kit parts that you are told to attach, because there's all sorts of piping and things that happen here, they will match up with the correct funnel parts. The tops of the funnels, you have to pay attention to them. The 4th one is different than the first 3 because this had different type of ventilation. This had furnaces coming out of them, the boilers, and this was like the kitchen and lounge and smoking room, and not as hot of items as what you had here. So there's a different shape. Okay, so now that you see that configuration, the reason I said before, does it even matter? So this is the kit order of things. Okay, and now this is the funnels arranged to be straight and level as you can get across the top. Again, the greatest difference, well, I guess it's 4 feet. 4 scale feet is the greatest difference in variation in height on this thing. So that's if you get it straight across, that's what it looks like. Okay, and now I've rearranged them again. This is the rivet counter special, totally as accurate as you can get height order. This is X1, Charlie 1, X1, Charlie 2. Approximate height above boat deck, this deck to the top. You got 70 feet, 74 feet, 74 feet, 73 feet. Now here's the thing. This is accurate, but I go back and forth here. I just put three arrangements in a row here for you to see the variation in height. If you go to page 248 in Titanic, the Ship Magnificent, Volume 1, there's a drawing of the ship. And if you put a level or a straight edge across the tops of the funnels, because these 2 are the highest, I'll be darned, in the drawing, these 2 are the highest. They're the same height. This one is just shy of the line, and this one is the furthest distance from the line. And that makes sense because this is 70 feet, these are 74, and that's 73. And so this is the most accurate way. But as modelers, I implore you to consider that you have to make all the parts work correctly now. So the pipes and the heights and all this stuff that's happening right here, you gotta work all that out to be in the right space, and you might have to trim some things and adjust it. So if you're building the model out of the box, consider just following the instructions. If you're not, and you want it to be as accurate as possible so you could sleep well at night, do it this way. It is correct. If you want it perfectly straight and level because you're OCD that way, do it the straight and level way. But, you know, can you tell is my question. So anyway, that's just food for thought. All right, let's press on. Okay, so here is the kit supplied #1 funnel out of the box. And a couple of things that we're going to note here as we zoom in. The big main pipe right here and attached to the whistle and the whistle pipe, that is just dry fitted at the moment. and the photo etch stairs are dry fitted at the moment. The reason is, one, I need to use this photo etch ladder for ultimately the China 3D prints, because that's what my customer is using. Those funnels are great, but they don't come with the ladder. We'll explain that later, so I need these. So they're not going to be painted, it's not going to be permanently attached. The other reason is, because this is black from here on up, you have all of this detail here in the middle that looks great, but masking and painting that off is a mess. So it would be easier if the ladder's out of the way and this main pipe's out of the way, and you're just painting this and you're painting the photo etch rail, easy peasy, no masking problems, and then you separately mask this pipe and paint all of your whistle detail and everything, and then glue it back on. That's real easy to do for a little order of operations there with the kit supplied parts. So unfortunately I can't compare the ladder as we move forward because I'm going to need it. But we can do the ladder for the Pontos kit, because that Pontos kit actually does come with the ladder. Okay, that's enough talking about that. This is the kit supplied part out of the box. That's what it looks like. All right, everybody, next up we have the photo etch set from Woody's Model Works. So these are the nice super thin sheets that you get. I've removed one, scratched off the back. He has instructions available. They're really easy. This is funnel, you probably can't see it, but C2. So you go to part C2 and take it out, and it fits. He also provides funnel rigging, which is great, and you get some little extra pieces here in case you need them. So this is a great kit if you just want to improve the funnels and have your rigging available. Now, John builds iconic models. I'll put a link right here. He does a video on how to install these things. But basically, you remove all of the raised rivet detail from the kit. You leave the kit details and raised lines in place. That's really important. And then you're going to go ahead and install them. Neil recommends in the instructions starting, I think, in the back or anchoring it somewhere. I'm going to start in the front because you've got this perfect spot where it fits and you can line the holes up, and that really helps get your angle right. That's really important so that you can follow around the wrap. We'll dive in closer. What is the difference between Woody's Model Works PE and the Pontos wraps and the kit? So it's in the rivet detail. The kit rivet detail is ginormous and completely wrong, but you can see it easily. Pontos detail is accurate and correctly represented. The same with the China 3D model prints. We'll look at all that later. And so is Woody Model Works. They all have the correct pattern. The difference is Woody's Model Works took a little artistic license and he made the rivets ever so slightly larger than what you'll get on Pontos and the China 3D prints. So not as accurate, but you could see them more easily. And so if some of you are interested in that, that would be the difference. And in his instructions online, he has comparison photos of all the parts next to each other, so you could take a look for yourself and decide if that's something you want to do. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get the funnel wraps on. Again, John Builds Iconic Ronald shows you how to do that, and then we'll come back to some of the rigging stuff. Press it on. Okay, so here is the photo etch installed via Woody's Model Works. The only exception being the stand right here. This is the kit supplied part. So you get your top and bottom pieces. You get your little photo etch up here at the top for the rigging. There's a couple of standing pieces of rigging that go here. The rest of it, like 2 lines come off of there and there. Otherwise, nothing runs up there. This was used to haul people up and down for painting. Then you've got these brackets here for your rigging detail. And Neil provides you with the photo etch rigging that runs all the way down to the base of the ship. I'll probably end up using that later on. So this is what it looks like. I have not put, so a couple comments. So the holes didn't line up perfectly, in the front here, and that's something that's, I talked to Neil about it. He goes, it's a really, really hard to do, and that's because there's inconsistencies with the funnel molding itself. So what I did is I just centered up on the bottom there that slot for this piece, glued it, and I just wrapped it all the way around. I ended up with a very nice seam in the back. I think that that is agreeable, and then of course there's a big pipe that goes on it and covers it up anyway. Now the top piece though, so really all you have is that hole right there, and as you can see mine didn't line up very well. I don't care. I'm going to leave it that way. What I did care about is, you see these little pieces, there are holes top and bottom. Whoop, I guess I bumped that. I'm going to have to I got to fix that. There are holes top and bottom for lining up these photo etch details. In fact, let me see if I can pop that off real quick. There we go. I gotta repair that anyway. That's crooked. But you can see there's a hole that lines up on top and bottom, and you want them to line up left and right from one another so these work. So that's what I focused on for the top. Rivet details, fantastic. I think it's just the right amount. So what we'll do, same as the other one, I'm going to leave this, I'm not going to put the piping on that goes in, and I'm definitely not using the ladders. I got to save those for the final product on my ship and my customers. But you would want to paint this at this point as is, and then paint the pipes that go on and attach them, because that will make things work better for you. So that's it. This is very, very nice. I am impressed. It's a big improvement over the kit part. I think those are the big highlight points I wanted to talk about here. Let's go ahead and press on. All right, next up here, we're going to do the KA funnels. And out of laziness and efficiency, I'm not going to build them. I'm just going to go ahead and show you the instruction here. And the reason is it's pretty disappointing, I'll be honest with you. So all you get are this photo etch piece. Actually, you don't get a photo etch piece at the top. You just get the section B that you get to assemble that goes hanging off the top, and then the N31 pieces. L25, M22, L26, those are all provided. They do have the ladder, which is nice, but that's it. There's no photo wrap going on. They do have their own rigging system right here, which is nice, and then a diagram to show you exactly where each one of them go. But otherwise, this is a kit. This is just like the kit piece. Yeah, I mean that's it. So hopefully that all makes sense and you can see what's going on there. So the next thing we're going to do is throw together the Pontos funnel. Pressing on. Okie doke, back in action here. We have moved on to the Pontos photo etch wrapped funnels. So this is the primary instruction page that you get on the kit, and then on the next page shows you the differences, where they go, and then the end result, basically what you're looking to see. So right away, a couple of observations. So I grabbed a funnel. I sanded off all of the raised surfaces except for this middle one and the lip and the top. That's per the instructions on what you're supposed to do. Please note funnel number 3 is different. Piece X1, which is actually the one that I just grabbed. Oh, no. Yeah, I'm doing funnel number 4, X1. But funnel 3 is different per their instructions. So in addition to that, they don't tell you which funnel goes where, which wrap goes on which. Woody's Model Works tells you exactly which one goes where. So I had to study the instructions carefully, and then I pulled out a funnel and I matched it up with the bottom there to get the distance right. Although I'm seeing already wrapping around that we have an excess of material on the back. Despite things. We'll see how that actually turns out. The ones from Woody's Model Works did not have that. I didn't do anything to it. It turned out perfectly. The other thing is this is significantly thicker than the photo etch you get from Woody's Model Works. I'm still going to apply it the same way. It should go on just fine, I think. But yeah, it's a little bit more. There's a different feel, and there's a lot more going on here. So I'm going to go ahead and get the wraps on, and I may or may not use all of these parts because I think everyone gets the idea here of what's going on. So it's not totally necessary to put all of the detail on. What we are interested in is the end result, because all of this, the ladders and everything, and the whistle and all that's the same, with the exception of one thing. I'll zoom in here. This piece, K22, are we looking at? Yeah. So basically this the stand right here. Notice on the front there's a bar that goes straight across there. This is the only one that has that, the only kit that has that. And what that means is, so on the other funnels, I think you saw I'd taken this piece and attached it, and then your funnel pipe or your whistle pipe and whatever's going on here, you can then just slide in after the fact, after it's been painted, and attach it. That might be more difficult to do with this one because it has that bar going across the front. This might be more accurate. This might be incorrect. I haven't looked at the the reference photos to find out if that is in fact the case or not. But I'm more concerned at the moment with getting the photo etch wrapped on. So we'll go ahead and do that. All right, I'll be right back in just a second. Pressing on. So here's the Pontos funnel. I've decided that for the sake of time, I'm not going to put all this stuff on here because that doesn't really change anything with the end result. So let's see. I'll move it in here a little bit. Generally speaking, it looks very nice. The rivets are much smaller than Woody's Model Works. They're probably scale accurate, I would assume. So here's the things. On the front, I got the photo etch to line up right, and as we went on the back, it lifted up. So either I have grabbed the wrong piece, see the slip here, or they just fit funny. And I've heard reports of the Pontos not working out well in terms of overlap. Now in the back, this is where I ran into real trouble. So on top, I did a great job. It worked out just right. The seam ended up butted up, basically perfect. Everything lined up exactly the way that I wanted. I was very pleased. The bottom, I had trouble. So if you look very carefully, those of you on a large computer screen, you can see that this starts to drift up. On the other side, ever so slightly, it drifts down on me. And that's because I first stuck it down the front, and it's tough to get your canter right. With this, I was having the same issue with the Woody's Model Works, but I found that I was able to move. There was a little bit of give to the photo etch, and I was able to make little adjustments and get that snug, nice and tight. Regardless, I was not able to do that here, and I ended up a little bit crooked. And as you can see, the holes don't line up, and I've got a mismatch at the bottom. So this was not as easy to put on as the Woody Model Works one. But the result's still good. I think if I was using this, I would probably do a lot more test fitting, and I would get all the pieces out to make sure that I didn't have the wrong bottom piece going here, which unfortunately is just a trial and error. What I did was I took my funnel out and I butted it up to the photo etch piece from the bottom front, which is the longest, the little U dip shape, and to the top here. And this was the piece that matched perfectly, so I assumed it was correct. And as you can see, on the very front here, it did. It went on exactly like it was supposed to, and it matched at the top here exactly like it was supposed to. And I followed around, and somehow, even on this side where I ended up a little high, I have an excess of material back here. I'm not sure what that's about. I've heard stories of people having issues with the overlap not working right. You know, I just used regular sandpaper and ran it around, made sure I knocked off all of the rivets and that it was roughed up, and that's it. I stopped. I suspect people aren't sanding enough, or they're sanding way too much, resulting in an overlap. So that is the Pontos funnel. I think it looks good. Like I said, I'm not going to waste time doing all the top stuff. We'll get it painted so you can look at the other ones and we'll do the comparison. But yeah, still not a bad option. I think it looks good. This is definitely a major improvement over the kit parts. And then all of the rigging that goes on here, it's the same as the Woody Model Works one. They have the same pattern, which is to be expected. Okay, let's move on to our last funnel of the day. Here we go. This is the funnel number 4, China 3D prints funnels. I think there's another company called Model Monkey. I might have that wrong. If you know what it is, put it in the description down below. There's another company out there that does 3D printed funnels. I do not have a copy. I don't have a lot of feedback. Just a handful of people I've heard of purchasing them. They're very pleased. So that is an option, I guess, if you want a 3D printed funnel and you can't get these for whatever reason. So I pulled this funnel out specifically because it is funnel number 4, which means the top is different in the back. Funnel number 4 did not have the heat coming out of all the boilers. Instead, this was like one of the kitchens, a couple of air vents, and maybe one of the dining rooms. It was primarily put on the ship for aesthetic purposes because a big ocean liner like this should have 4 funnels on it, is what Harlan and Wolff said, not the 3. Sorry. And so they stuck it on there and it's like, well, let's use it for something, right? So the first thing I want to say is right away, the detail is immaculate. I mean, it's very impressive. Everything that's done on here is printed extremely well. But as we know from previous videos, the prints are in fact brittle. One disappointment, I'm not clear on this. I don't have an answer for you. There's no rings for any of the rigging. There should be spots up here where it hangs off, and then there should be pieces here to connect to. So there's these big bumps instead. Zoom in a little more there. And that's where our hardware goes. So here's what I'm going to do. First of all, I just found out yesterday that you can order a set of rigging photo etch parts that go over this from Woody's Model Works. I did not know that he sold that. Otherwise, I would have gotten those in advance, and I didn't have them. What I'm going to do instead is some old-fashioned modeling. I'm going to just make some little modifications to the KA and Pontos parts. I got a bunch of spares, and to clip over here and up on the top to get the same look. I'll probably use because remember I showed you the KA kit is just all of the hardware that you need stuck on the kit part. So we'll just take that hardware off that we need and we'll apply it on here. We'll make it work. But that was not molded. I was a little bummed about that. Now if you look closely, you can see the rivet detail. It looks fantastic. It's probably extremely accurate, and I would venture to say realistic and properly to scale. It is just a little bit hard to make out when you're done. So we do need to remove this stuff, all of this down here. I've covered that in other videos. You just need to proceed very, very carefully, and you're set and ready to go. The whistle is already attached right there, but they come with extra whistles. I think that was in case they broke off in transit. Maybe they've had experience with that happening. One more comment, I thought I've shared this before. The reason there's no ladder on the front, so they can print the ladders. China 3D Prints did print the ladders successfully. I'm sure they look gorgeous. They took these 6 sets, put them in their normal shipping boxes, and transported them from China to the United States. And it was like an 80 or 90% break rate of the ladder being shattered by the time it got to the United States, which is a shame and honestly very surprising considering how well these were packaged. So you're going to have to save the kit photo etch ladder and install that on here, which we're going to do. We have all that stuff. So yeah, let me go ahead and clean this up and get all this goobery stuff cut off of it, and we'll have another look at it, and then we'll compare all of them. Press it on. Okay, ta-da, here it is. Funnel is out and sanded and ready to go. So, real quick, fun part, this is the inside. This all comes, once you get the stuff around the edge done, this all just slides right out. And for those of you who are uninitiated, these are internal supports that allow for the detail across the top and everything to be printed the way that you want. This thing's printed this way, upside down, basically the way a 3D printer works. If you don't know, this is the bottom. It's attached to a plate. It dips in a pool of resin. A 3D light fires and hardens the resin. It keeps going up and down, up and down, up and down, and this emerges up out of the vat upside down. And something's got to hang on to this stuff or it'll fall off. Okay, so that's all the good news. Here's the bad news, or the stuff that you run into with this type of resin. This resin's extremely brittle. Now, before someone gets bent out of shape, says, why don't you use different resin? This is high detail resin, so that you get these incredible rivets all perfectly done and in location that you want. And by its own nature, it is extremely brittle. It's just the reality of the situation. All right, no troubles in the back here. This is all very, very fragile. It's only got 3 contact points. So down here is where I ran into my issues. I got a little nick right there. Pretty sure this pipe comes down and out down here, and it busted off on me, and there was just nothing I could do. There's a little teeny cut in the front here from my razor saw where it slipped, and then there's this big gash right there. I do not know how that happened. I was surprised that popped out. That's no big deal. I'm going to mix up some milli putt. I'll stick it on there. This will probably get covered by the paint, and then that little pipe, I'll just cut a piece of styrene and slide it in when we're done, and you'll be all set and ready to go. No one's going to notice. So other than that, no big deal. We're all set. So with that being said, you guys remember that the KA version of all of the funnels is the kit funnel with some hardware on it. That's it. So let's go ahead and get what we've got out here and take a look. Okay, so here is our kit funnel that we started off with. I still think it's nice, and it will do the job, and there's nothing wrong with it. Next up, we have the Woody's model kit, photo etch installed, accurate rivet pattern. The rivets are just slightly larger so that they're a little easier to see. We've got all of our mounting hardware, same as what goes on the Pontos. Easy to apply, photo etch wraps, no big deal. Then you got the kit supplied spot right up there on the front. Looks good. All right, next up here we have the Pontos photo etch wrap. Same as Woody's Model Works, except this is the, I guess, to scale rivet pattern that you can see is very small and kind of hard to make out. The wraps are thicker. They were more difficult to install. All the remaining hanging hardware, etc., is the same as what you get on Woody's Model Works. Next up is the China 3D print, the only funnel number 4 that I've bothered showing here. Again, accurate rivet pattern to scale, same as the funnel wraps from Pontos. All of your stuff is basically installed already except for the ladder, and we got to do something special here to make the hardware, the rigging hardware, go on it. It's missing. Again, you can order hardware from Woody's Model Works specifically for this. We're going to use the photo etch that we have on hand here from KA and make it work. That's not going to be a real big deal. Okay, so those are your 4 that we've got to look at. All right, now that this is done, we're missing, like I said, the KA one. Basically, it looks just like this. You just got the mounting hardware that you have on Woody's Model Works. And I'm missing the Model Monkey version of this. I don't have it. I'm assuming it looks the same. It's just a different color resin, perhaps. These are your options, basically, though. And hopefully, you know, take a good look at them before they're painted here and see what you think. I mean, the brass just looks amazing. The 3D prints, they're little works of art by themselves, but everything has a pro and a con. It's just up to you to decide what to do. I'm using the 3D printed ones from my customer. That's what he ordered, and I think that was a really good idea because he had the KA kit. It didn't include anything, unfortunately. Like I said, just the hardware, and we want to make an accurate model here. So that's what his goal is. So the next thing to do is to paint these things. The tops are all painted a flat black. There's no disputing that. The bottoms are all painted White Star Buff. That is the color, White Star Buff, and there's no disputing that. What there is dispute over, though, is what does White Star Buff look like? Because for those of you who do not know, White Star Buff is a color by White Star Shipping Lines. It was an in-house color that they mixed themselves, that they had the recipe for, that they named. There are no color photographs of it, and they didn't write down the recipe for mixing the paint. So a lot of assumptions have been made about what color is everything. So we'll address that a little bit more specifically here in a minute. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get these all painted up, and I'm going to start by painting them all. While these three, including the China 3D prints, I'm going to hit with a photo etch primer, etching primer, to get it ready to go. Then I will hit them with flat black to get the color on that I want. And I'm going to do the whole top and bottom flat black. That's my recipe. And then we're going to go ahead and apply our White Star Buff. And for the kit part, I'm going to remove this piece first, the funnel, to make all this easy to mask off. And then I'll mask this off, and I'll put it back on so that it looks cool and you can see how to get that look that you want right there. That's how I would put it all together. Okay, so with that being said, let me get the paint on the initial black coat here, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about White Star Buff. Press it on. All right, real quick, it occurred to me someone's going to want to see this. So this is how I repaired that corner nick there. That's milliput. It's just it's still wet. I got to wait for it to dry. But I just formed it on there with a toothpick and filled it in. I think I got to see it up real closer. And then the front of that pipe right there where I accidentally cut it a little, I just put some medium viscosity CA glue, gap filling CA glue, to fill that in. So we're just going to let that all dry up, and then we'll get ready for paint. I forgot to mention one other thing. On the inside here, I had to do a significant amount, and this broke before I did this, a significant amount of sanding to thin out this bottom wall so that it would drop down onto the kit supplied part. I was kind of surprised that it didn't fit right away. So when doing this, just a safety reminder, do not breathe in this dust. It could cause the end ultimately. So make sure you put on a respirator, mask, well-ventilated area, put some water on it so it's wet, something that you don't breathe in the dust from resin. Okay, so that's how I repaired it, and we'll paint it now. Okay, here we are, back at it. So here are our funnels all painted up. Now this is the kit part with the piece in the front. I did this to try and help it out as best as I could. Yeah, just so that you could see what's going on. So then moving forward here, we have the piece from Woody's Model Works, and you can see, I think you can make out the rivet detail a little bit better there. And then moving forward, we hit the Pontos piece, where the rivets are an accurate size. They kind of disappear. And then last but not least, we have the the China 3D print funnel. This is funnel number 4. Did a lot better job and more accurate job with the paint and placement and everything, etc., because I'm using this for my client's build. So the whole point of all of this is so that you could see when you're done what really the end result is going to be between the 4 or 5 different kits. Obviously, well, let's see. We have 5 represented because I don't have the one from painted here from KA because it's just the kit part, you know, with the little details here. So we'll clump these together here, and then we're going to have a talk about paint.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to talk about colors. So top is flat black. Oh, and how did I get this color? What color is going on here? What's happening? The whole thing was, these are all primed, and then I painted the entire thing black, and then I applied my color to the bottom over the black. It took several coats because it's black, and this black paint absorbs a lot of this paint to get this color that we are using, see here. So as previously mentioned, it's supposed to be White Star Buff. And do you know what color White Star Buff is, wife?
Is it the color we're looking at?
That's a good question. Is it the color we're looking at? So, for those who don't know, I think I mentioned it earlier, White Star Buff is a proprietary color by White Star. The recipe went down.
It's their own special blend.
It is, and there's no color photographs, so no one really, truly knows. So, the color that we have here, this particular here, which I did a good job painting, this is for my client's build. So he actually picked out this color after we went through a series of colors and settled on it, which made me really happy. So the deal is, there's a lot of opinions out there of what color everything should be or how we get to this buff. And so when I first started out, and I wish I had it here, someone said online, go ahead and just grab Flat Flesh XF15 and slap that on there. And I had a funnel painted this color, and then I painted over it. I apologize. You can kind of see inside there, it's a different shade. Now, Nora thought it looked too fleshy, right?
It looked very fleshy, kind of creepy, and now I'm looking at it again. You just opened that jar, and it looks like plastic baby doll parts. Like,
well,
it's,
you know,
like legit just flesh.
But if you look at like the front of a lot of these books,
yeah,
the people, and
I mean, what are those really? Those are renditions.
They are, and then we've got you know, the Ken Marshall paintings right here, right on
see?
the front.
Gold. That looks gold.
Okay, so a different color. I thought personally that this color closely matched those paintings. However, so the thing is, no one actually knows what the right color is. So it is all a matter of opinion. Now, there are a couple people out there who swear they own time machines. They went back in time. They took their digital camera with them. They took pictures, and then they actually scraped a paint chip off, and they brought it back, and theirs is correct. So,
gotcha.
And there's nothing wrong with that. But there are people who've done a lot of research to come up with colors. One gentleman, Ryan Speak, he sent me a message, and he's like, listen, I have researched the ship since the dawn of time. I think I know what the White Star Buff is, and he provided me with color codes. I'm going to put those up on the screen here. Ironically, the CMYK color code combo, I put it in, and here's a screenshot. I'll put it up online of the buff that it produced. It looks shockingly close to the color that we have here. Now, what do we have? This is Mission Models paint. This is MMP 39 British Sand Yellow Modern AFV, straight out of the bottle over black. That's how we got this color that fortunately I didn't have to decide on. My client sent me pictures that he wanted, right? He gave us a couple of reference photos and said, I'd like it to look like this or as close as possible. I lucked out at a model show, grabbed this paint, boom, there we go. Scale Colors provides a color buff that is alarmingly close to this color. I tried to buy some from him at a recent model show. He didn't have it with him. I was like, well, I'll go ahead and I'll just order it from him later. But And I apologize, sir, I did not place the order because when I put this together, my client was like, that's it, that's the color, we're doing that. And it's his ship, so he gets to decide, right? So that's what we're going with.
Exactly.
Originally, he was looking at his phone, he wanted a slightly darker, deeper tone, so I had mixed this color up.
Woo, is that close?
It's very close. It's a little warmer, but it's got a lot of peach in it, right? It's actually, this color looks a lot closer to what you get the XF15 with the two mixed together, basically. And, you know, it's just kind of hard to tell, right?
Let's see if you just go with this. It's just British sand neat.
And you're done. And this is a custom color that I had to come up with.
No mixing, no mess, no fanciness, just right out of the bottle.
Yeah, and you're good to go. So anyway,
to me, that's more of a neutral tone. When I saw that fleshy color on the ship, you know, sitting on top there, I just felt like it was a real clash with what was there. And, you know, you pointed out, yeah, you don't see the red, it's under the water, blah, blah, blah. But when it's a model sitting on a shelf, you do see the red.
Yeah, you do.
And I thought it just looked, I didn't like it at all.
I'll say this. My client, he has picked out the colors for his ship. The red for under the hull, the anti-fouling red. Black is black, white's white, no problem there. But then definitely going with, you know, this color for the funnels. The combination looks killer. Mm-hmm. It's stunning. Now, real quick asterisk note here. For the sake of time with this video, and I know Nora and I are just talking, I did not get all four of the China 3D print funnels done because that would take me like at least another day and a half probably, and to get them on the ship. And that's what I want to show you, but I want to get the video out. So in the next video, we'll get these, I'll have them all painted up and we'll drop them into position. We'll take a look at that. But this is so that we can look at some colors here. So yeah, XF15 is a great color to match the books. If you cannot find a buff that you want, if you like what you see on the screen here, this is Mission Models made in the USA. This is the color, once again, that I'm using. It's very close to what Scale Colors has. In fact, I wish I had their paint. I'd spray the two and compare it. You're going to end up in a genre like this. This seems to be the universally accepted buff, I would say. You're either in this tone range, right, or you're in the XF15 range for like what's on the book covers. I think. You don't think so?
You know, I had not even looked that closely at that detail until you started talking about it and sticking funnels in my face every day.
Right. That is correct.
So then I decided to go ahead and design one of my own.
Well, yeah, like if you were in charge, right? Because you have your own model.
Yes, and we're going to make it the way I like it.
Yeah.
And I am taking orders for this. They are custom. And I mean, I don't know how many people are going to want them. It could be a long wait, maybe not.
Also, I thought you said, like, if you worked at White Star, you'd be
yes.
like, no, we're doing this, boys. The end.
Yes.
And Titanic would have looked like this.
Yes, because Titanic would have been 100% a baller party ship.
Right.
And it would look something like that.
Exactly. Exactly. So what we have here, because I know everyone's going to want to know the colors, right? So this is all flat
That's
black.
secret. I have to make it for you.
That's true. And then underneath here, it's not buff. That's gold.
It is straight up gold.
Straight up gold. And then we have a series of sequins. Rhinestones. Yeah, device. And this helps with your visibility. You know. You put a little light on this. Yeah. And you're good to go.
Guess what? If they would have looked like that and they started sinking, somebody would have found them sooner.
The Carpathia would have found them right away.
Right away.
We should put that on the ship and take a look at it. Let's do that right now.
Okay, now I know that I don't possess the skills that you do, but I think it looks pretty good.
Yeah, what's the second funnel there? That was a gold you didn't like.
That was my, it's a little too coppery. I want it to be more gold.
Right.
So when that failed, I just figured I'd take matters into my own hands, and that's how we came up with the one on the end there. And it's
it's got the look.
Yeah, I look at that and all I hear is oonts, 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 oonts.
Exactly. Exactly. So yeah, like Nora said, she's taking orders. It definitely adds, I don't know, I think it gives the ship a lot of life. That is for sure.
Character.
Character. That's what we're looking for.
Character.
So, okay. All right. I think that's going to be it for now. I apologize that I couldn't get all of the China 3D print ones done. But this is funnel number 4. It's got the unique top. It's coming along nicely.
I don't think anybody's going to peg you as a slacker, Ben. It's
Well,
all right.
I'm trying here. And we got to get, there's a lot of work left to do on this thing here still. So, in the meantime, thank you all very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And on the next one, maybe we'll just do a short one where we get all 4 of the funnels plopped on the way that we want them to go. And here's one last look at the different colors that you have available and some things you can try and do and see what works for you, right?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time.
Ciao for now.